Welcome to this edition of the Mayor's Report for Pleasanton. I'm your host, Sblendorio. Joining me today is Mayor Karla Brown from the beautiful city of Pleasanton.
And it is beautiful, thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Karla, for joining us. Hey, let's start off with some topics or updates that you'd like to share with our viewers.
Well, there's something pretty exciting happening in the city of Pleasanton, and that is after nearly 30 years of law enforcement and leadership, our Pleasanton Police Chief, Mr. David Swing, will be retiring in April, and we wish him the very best. He is actually going to move on. Even though he's retiring from the city and retiring from law enforcement, he's got a new role that he can step into, and he will. It's called the East Bay Regional Communications System Authority. That's a mouthful, but they also refer to it as EBRICS, which is much shorter. So this EBRICS was created in 2007 to build, own, and operate state-of-the-art digital communication systems for public agencies like Alameda County, throughout the cities, as well as Contra Costa, covering 2.5 million people and 1,500 square miles. That's a big job. So during his time in Pleasanton, I want to highlight some of the things that Chief Swing was able to do for us and his many accomplishments. He was instrumental in the development and implementation of our Helen Putnam Award-winning Alternative Response Unit, or ARU, again, letters, that introduced trained mental health clinicians during crisis intervention, and we have 2 full-time mental health clinicians on our staff working for the chief, and that has been the program. And here's just an example of what this ARU has done. So regarding mental health holds, which is a really a very comparative year to year, how many mental health holds you have. The ARU program cut our adult and youth mental health down by half. And that's huge. These are those 72-hour holds that are only for those that really feel are in danger. And then most importantly, our youth are under 18. They were able to cut it by 17%. Oh, sorry, 70. Big number, 70% for our under 18. So this is huge. So also during the chief's tenure, the department developed and implemented a 5-year strategic plan, which increased employee recognition and retention through an inaugural department awards ceremony. And then lastly, in 2021, our Chief Swing established the Community Advisory Board, or CAB, which allowed residents to be a member and face-to-face discussions with the chief on a regular basis. So clearly, Chief Swing has made Pleasanton a better city, and we are so fortunate to have had him.
No, congrats to the chief and best wishes to him.
Very much.
Now, Karla, we know the world isn't flat. However, we do like our streets to be relatively flat.
Right.
So let's talk a little bit about the 2024 pavement maintenance projects. And that's really just about paving, isn't it? It's about streets and just keeping the wheels turning, as they say. So let's talk about, tell us a little bit about the projects and what the viewers can expect over the next year.
You know, I remember joking when I was an elected official years ago, 2012, I started, that I was going to getting phone calls about potholes. Well, we really do.
They do.
It's just not, it's not a joke. So consisting of over 200 miles of roadway within the city of Pleasanton, do the math here, 200 miles worth $300 million. So what's that about? 1.5 million per mile.
Right.
The city's network is the largest capital asset in the entire city that we own, those roads. So we need to keep them in good or excellent condition, and we do. So the city completes a roadway maintenance yearly consisting of 3 primary projects. So the first is the annual curb and gutter replacement program, and we would know those as those American Disability or ADA ramps
Right.
with the yellow bumps,
Right.
which are kind of difficult to walk on in high heels. So, but I don't think that was the main consideration. But anyway, then 2 is the annual street resurfacing and preventative maintenance, and that is usually various ways of overlaying an existing road.
Right.
So we sometimes refer to those as a slurry seal. And then the other is sometimes we do a complete rehabilitation of the base asphalt. So that's a much more large project and more invasive, and means your street's closed down for a while. So we do that. It's the most expensive, of course, of the choices, but we do it when it needs to be done. So street maintenance locations are selected based on surveys.
Okay.
Where does it need to be at the most, right?
Where is it most bumpy?
Or where is it starting to fail? You start seeing cracks, micro cracks, and deeper cracks. Even some areas where you see some depression in the road, so that's an attention for work to be done. This year, the curb and gutter replacement project will start a little later in March. So depending on when you're seeing this, think about you're going to see it in March. And it's in advance of resurfacing projects. The whole thing is going to last about 6 months.
Ooh.
So you're going to see lots of work being done. As you can imagine, we need to do it when it's not raining.
But not all in one place, of course.
Not all in one. Remember, we have a lot of miles, 200 miles of road. Exactly. So it's going to take about 6 months. The slurry seal and pavement resurfacing will probably start around June and include a variety of projects in the city, like we referred to, as we invest in our most valuable asset. So this year, 2023, there was a shortage of asphalt last year, so 2024 will be a big year for roads and pavements.
So there was a shortage, so we're going to make it up in 2024.
This is what I'm told, is that Caltrans bought most of the supply last year. And, you know, big business, the entire state of California,
Right.
roads and infrastructure. So they did that. And the other question I get is, how are you funding these roads? Where does the money come from?
Right.
And in the city of Pleasanton, we spend a lot of time on budgets. And so some people like to say, is it coming from the general fund, which is your most liquid and undedicated fund? Well, in fact, we get money from gas taxes, as well as registration fees. California Senate Bill 1 is another way, and then other statewide packages that help support our budget so that we can redo these roads, and something we can be very proud of. If you're not sure if your street is going to be one of the ones, or you want it to be, this is a time to communicate with your council. But first, go to the Public Works project page on the city's website, look up your street, see if it's going to be done, and then look at the calendar and schedules, because you will get a notification on your home about when your street's going to be addressed.
All right, so Karla, I guess to summarize, if people go to the website, or viewers go to their website, and they have the street in front of their house, they can they can send a message, say, hey, take a look at my street, maybe it needs a little work.
If that's not on the list.
Okay, great.
Right, yeah, I certainly have done that. When you see something, we also have different apps that you can notify operation services. So yeah, let us know if your street needs it.
All right, thank you so much for letting us know, and yeah, I guess it'll be a big year for the city of Pleasanton fixing those streets. And you mentioned the Public Works, but this is an exciting. You have a new Public Works director. Fill that spot. Tell us who the director is. Tell us a bit about her, and then let's talk about the responsibilities after we finish off those.
Yes, so we do. Her name is Sue Chin Young, and she's our new Director of Public Works. She starts March 25th, so we haven't had a chance to meet her yet. So March 25th, Sue Chin has over 20 years experience as a civil engineer and a capital project manager, and she's had development and oversight for capital programs, which will be a big part of all this asphalt and laying down blacktop all over the city of Pleasanton. But she's held many roles in her public works departments throughout the area. So Public Works Department, for those who may not be familiar with the term, but they're responsible for operations and maintenance of the city's infrastructure design, construction, public facilities, and administration. So lots of things behind the scenes that we often don't even think about for the city. But if I was to give you a list, it's Pleasanton's water distribution system.
The water turns on, when you turn the tap, the water comes out.
Well, you're absolutely right. You know, the most expensive drop is the first drop, because all the pipes have to be laid to get there.
That's right.
So Pleasanton's water distribution system. We also offer recycled and clean water programs and water conservation programs. So that will be under Sue Chin. The city's capital improvement project, which we refer to as CIP, capital improvement, running of the Pleasanton Calipe Golf Course. That's under operations. We have a flood and flood plain that needs to be maintained. So we just had heavy rain a couple days ago, and we probably will again. So somebody needs to make sure all those heavy, instant, short-term rains don't flood homes and neighborhoods.
Keeping the gutters clean, right?
That's right. And then also daily maintenance like trees, street sweep, graffiti removal, although we're blessed to not have too much of that. And then also our city's sign shop. Do you know the city of Pleasanton has our own sign shop? We make our own signs. Yep. So in addition to these, she'll be working on PFAS. I know we frequently talk about water contamination, and clean, safe water. So also ground wells that we're looking to drill, and then implement the city's new 10-year maintenance plan. A lot on her plate.
Well, okay, so I'm going to mention one that I know, if you turn the tap, you get water, but also I'm sure people really care if they flush that toilet, that it keeps going, right?
That's right.
You will get calls if that doesn't happen.
Water in, water out.
Water out. All right. That's great. So we're looking forward to meet her at some point.
Yes.
But I'm sure you are too. But we need to take a short break. We'll be right back in this edition of the Mayor's Report for Pleasanton. Welcome back to this edition of the Mayor's Report for Pleasanton. We are here talking with Mayor Karla Brown, of course, from Pleasanton. Welcome back, Karla.
Hey, you're in the house. You're in Pleasanton.
We are in Pleasanton right here in the studios. You've talked a lot in the past about the budgets, and it's very important to you, of course, because you are running an important city and a big city that has a lot of needs and a lot of responsibilities. But every once in a while, you have to amend your budget. So let's talk about why did changes happen, and outline those changes for our viewers. What changes? What happens?
Well, just like you have a budget at home, and if you're a small business owner, you certainly know budgets very well. But the city has a large budget, it's a significant budget, and it's time for our mid-year budget adjustment. And that's a time where departments throughout the city look at what they've spent and what they intend to spend over the year. And some departments are saying, what did they receive in, like plan check, fees? What did they receive in, and what do they expect for the next fiscal year? So this gives us a fine-tuned mid-year check-in to find out how we're doing. Are we staying on our budget? And is there any major changes in money coming in? Like recently, we had a large housing project that was put on hold. Well, that delays some of the fees, impact fees that we'd normally get, and all those things need to be adjusted. So we'll take this opportunity, and also, is there any unforeseen critical needs? Every once in a while, something pops up you didn't expect, and you might need to look to your budget to find ways to be able to pay for it. So the city's major revenues are examined and adjusted, and based on more refined information. You know where the city gets most of our money from, by the way?
No, tell us.
Property taxes.
Oh, of course.
And then number 2 is sales taxes.
Sales tax, yeah.
So nice thing about property taxes, they're pretty consistent, right? So the largest adjustment this year is going to be in the city's new water rates. We pay for water too, all those beautiful parks. And then it's also going to be in PG&E. And energy rates have really jumped. Right. When you think of all PG&E is doing, it'll affect you at home, but it definitely affects the city. So between the water and the electricity rates, we're expecting to see an increase in what we budgeted by $760,000.
Wow.
So you won't have that at home, but the city is a big electricity user, so $760,000.
That's wise for you to point it out. I mean, the buildings have to be lit, and the water to the parks have to be put there by
Street lights.
Electricity.
Street lights everywhere, street lights, and those are all powered by electricity. So these increases to the good news were offset by reductions in other non-personnel budget items. So we're always looking for how we can be fiscally careful. We understand these are your tax dollars, they're my tax dollars, and let's be really, really careful with them. So the total impact to our general fund, our most liquid fund, was an increase in $12,000 in revenues and an increase in $9,000 expenditures. So up 12 and up 9. So we're still in a good place, but this will give us our midterm look at the budget.
Okay, that's not much really. Only $3,000 difference between those two.
And it was in the right direction, so revenues were up.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Karla. Let's talk a little bit about something that is just, especially during the summer months. Everybody knows about the bandstand on right off of First Street. That's the Lions Wayside Bandstand. Can you tell us, did the council give any direction on on the bandstand, and if so, what is that direction?
We sure have. Have you been to our concerts in the park on a Friday evening?
Yes, I have.
Oh, I've been many times. I lived here for years and years and years before I realized this fun event was going on, because I was a commuter, so I wasn't in town on those Friday evenings. But once I was able to live and work in Pleasanton, voila, what a great amenity within our city. So in our October City Council meeting, City Council provided direction to staff to look at some new configurations. We knew we wanted to keep something that had a historic look to it, yet still blended in with the Firehouse Arts Center right there at that same park. So this is in Lions Wayside, as you said, right there on First Street. So at this recent meeting, March 5th, the council gave direction to look at a new style that projects the sound out, but in my opinion still retains much of that historic look. Remember, you're across the street from some of the most beautiful houses in Pleasanton. They're on First Street, sometimes referred to as Painted Ladies, and we wanted to keep that historic feel and look of downtown, but replace the poor Chad Henderson bandstand that really has seen a great life, but it's time to retire it. And with the changes in the creek there, we weren't able to rebuild in the same location. So, and you probably remember, if you watch Mayor's report, you'll remember that we tried to have an option of filling in that arroyo there and putting a pipe down the middle, and the California was rejected. So Army Corps of Engineers said no. So, and now we have a new style. It's very exciting. It's got a better broadcast out. We worked with residents and neighbors, and many of my friends live in this historic downtown. They gave me feedback. They like the style. So we'll fine-tune it in a little bit. It should be great. And expect the 2025 Summer Concert Series. We won't make it this year. Where the current bandstand is, we're going to make it a beautiful plaza as well, because that's rough and unfinished. So it will be spectacular 2025.
Okay, so Karla, I'm sure people will be wondering about this. So the expectation is there will be a Summer Concert Series 2024, and then in the winter, the new bandstand will be built and it'll be ready for summer 2025. Is that the expectation?
That is our plan. That is our plan. So we're going to use that existing bandstand, just like we did last year, again this year. We have the funds. We've had them set aside in our park and lieu fees. So they're park funds. They've just been sitting here waiting for the design and the location and the rejection by the state that we couldn't change that creek.
Now, do you also anticipate that will there be the same amount of space available for folks to, people lay out their towels, their beach chairs, et cetera? Is that going to be configuration be changed in any way, or is it pretty much same as before?
Oh, great question. The location of the new bandstand is going to be towards Livermore, if you want to look at it that. That Lions Wayside Park is a long linear park that runs parallel to First Street. And so we're going to go to the end closer to the parking lot, actually, that's now owned by the city. So closer to Livermore, and broadcast the sound backwards over the length of the concert series instead of that short area right by the flagpole for the best music impact. We're also going to lay out an area for dancing. So bring your wife and come and dance. You know, we have great residents that come, and they just, sometimes they're just on their own, and some of the most adorable ones are under 10, and they're up there dancing to the music. It's wonderful. The
best dancer. So if I'm understanding, you're basically changing the orientation 90 degrees from, from being broadcast toward First Street, and now it would be more aligned with First Street to broadcast. That makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense.
And I'm working with staff to direct it kind of towards the ice house, or where Meadowlark Dairy is, so the sound radius will shift towards the park, not towards the houses on First Street or the street on First Street.
Okay, great. Thanks. That's so much. That's exciting. That is very exciting. Something new, and probably accommodate a lot more dancers.
Yes.
This is important. All right, Karla. You know, there's always great things happening in the city of Pleasanton, but let's highlight for our viewers any upcoming items or events that people would want to come out and fingers crossed, a little less clouds, a little more sun.
Well, this one won't be weather dependent. Twice a year, the mayor interviews and council, if they're available, for committees and commissions. So it's your opportunity for a resident to participate in decision making, bring ideas and feedback to the city and the council, and they do it through our committee and commissions. They're treasured methods of bringing information from the residents to the council. So recruitment is now underway, and I'd like to invite everybody who's interested to please apply online. Currently, we're looking for one vacancy for a bike, pedestrian, and trails committee. Civic arts, if you're into civic arts, this might be your opportunity. It's for a youth member for civic arts. Economic Vitality Committee, now those are specific to your education or your expertise. So we're looking for someone in the EVC, Economic Vitality Committee, for technology, downtown businesses, and retail. Then we are looking for someone in the Library Commission for one position. And then finally, Parks and Rec has 2 positions, an adult and a youth. Then we have a youth commission. We're going to be applying for those in the summer. So for right now, these are the positions. Applications are due by 4 p.m. on April 1st. No fooling.
Okay, thank you. And we need to put a link to the city website, so if people want to apply, they know how to do it.
You bet. Just go to cityofpleasantonca.gov. We have a new website. It's got great search features. The other one did not. So great search features, and just look for those committee commission applications.
Right, and please apply. You need people.
I love it.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us today and updating us. I'm Sblendorio. Join us for the next episode of the Mayor's Report of Pleasanton right here on Tri-Valley TV. Thank you so much for watching.